Hi, everyone, and welcome to Maker Spotlight with Oh You're Lovely. My name is Maggie Cullen. I am the Wholesale Director for Oh You're Lovely. And today I have with me Tiffany Wright from Copper Fox Contrived, and she is based out of Missouri. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So we're going to get right into it because I think we have quite a bit to cover. You have some really, really cool stuff going on over at your shop. But I would love to just start off with, when did you start Copper Fox Contrived? And, what's kind of been a little bit of the evolution of your business?
So I started my business in 2018 officially. 2017 is when I found wood flowers and I started creating and kind of getting a feel for it. It was actually my wedding was the reason that I even found wood flowers.
Yeah.
And then I created our entire wedding, all the wedding party, all the centerpieces. And then friends and family had taken my centerpieces home, as they do. They always steal from you, but we still love them. Okay. And in their homes, friends and family of theirs would come over. They would see them. They took them home to their homes, and it just kind of blossomed from there.
Yeah. Yeah. So everyone was taking them,
Yes.
from
And
your wedding to other people's homes, then into their homes.
yes,
And
people would reach out to me to ask if I could create something for them, and I would, and it just kind of blossomed from there. So my entire business was started on my dining room table, and
yeah.
it took up the entire 8-foot table, piled, 4 foot tall, just an entire business on a table. You can imagine. We all know, we've all been there. That's how we all started. In 2018, I bought the building that we're in now, but it was an older building and it took a lot of work to rehab it. We weren't able to actually move into the building until July. We opened officially July 2021. So this will be our second year as a storefront, which is very exciting. We now have an employee. It's been going great, really. It's just been a very cool adventure. And a lot of our customers have followed us from the very start of my business, all the way to now. So it's been really cool for them to experience this journey with us. And we often get people who come in and they say, I've been a customer of yours since you worked out of your home. I used to pick stuff up from your house. And it's just really neat that we're all in this together. They love seeing us grow. They love being a part of it. So it's just really cool.
And you're in the downtown area of where your building's at, and it's a historic building, I believe.
Yeah. So the city is working on getting our area classified as a historic area. So that is soon to come. I'm glad it didn't happen before I moved in because my building is bright pink.
Well, that might have been grandfathered into the whole historic thing. I live in Richmond, Virginia, and there are historic spots, and we actually bought a house, luckily, that is over 100 years old, but it's not part of the historic district, because I know there's so many rules about the exterior and what you can and can't do and what you need to revert and all those things. So hopefully you're grandfathered into all of that.
Better be.
Better be. Yes. Yes. So that's kind of an amazing progression of your business, and it feels like, yeah, we've all started in our dining rooms. Many of us started with our weddings and going from there. We're going to talk about a really cool program that you have going on in a second, but what are some of the challenges you've found over the years? I mean, you've been in business officially for 5 years at this point. Like, what are some of the challenges that you've had to face?
There are definitely ups and downs. There are definitely slow seasons. As a regular florist, a fresh flower, wood flower, any kind of business is always going to have slow seasons. So really, it's the mental aspect of reminding yourself that this is a dip in business that is happening for everybody, and it's not specifically you and your business. And I know we all get in our heads and we think, it's been 2 months where my sales have been so slow. What am I doing wrong? And you really put a lot of the blame on yourself, and you think, maybe my products aren't good enough. Maybe I'm not working hard enough. And it's a lot of pressure, but it's not you, it's all of us. So that's something that, as a small business owner in a storefront, working with other small business owners in my community, that has really helped me, because I'm seeing that it's not us, it's my neighbors. It's not just me. It's the bar, it's the coffee shop, it's the diner down the street. So really,
Right.
I think the biggest part has just been that mental aspect of it. And
Yeah.
of course, when you work out of your home, that mental part is hard on you as well, because
Yeah.
you're isolated. You don't have employees that you're talking to every day. For me, I had my baby very quickly after I had started my business. Well, we had him before, actually. So I worked at home. He was with me every single day. He was the only human I had to communicate with, and he wasn't great at conversations yet.
Yeah.
So it was very lonely, and it really put me sometimes in a bad place, honestly. But it's something that you really kind of have to understand, that like, you got to get out there and do other things when you're a small business owner, when you're doing these kind of things, because you got to keep up that mental. So really, the biggest challenge overall as a business owner has really been the mental aspect for me personally.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes complete sense. When as you were saying your stuff, you hit on the word that I was thinking of, that it is isolating and you feel like you're alone in this world, because you don't have the coworkers to bounce things off of. You don't have, and you feel like everything, that full weight of what's going on, is on your shoulders and your shoulders alone. And so, the idea of getting connected with local businesses and reaching out and putting yourself out there a little bit is worth it, to just know, like, this isn't just me, this is a rough spot overall. And that's stuff we've been facing. I mean, 2022, you would have thought like things are moving in the right direction, but then a lot of other stuff happened, and it was a tough year. It was a tough year for a lot of businesses, but
tough couple of years. What's a tough couple of years?
It's been a strange time to be a business owner, or working in a tight-knit small business community. So one thing I wanted to ask you is about something you've really enjoyed about your business. And I feel like we may be talking about a program soon that you've been running, and something you've been doing to give back to your community. What do you think?
Okay, so we're talking about Roses for Residents. So I started Roses for Residents in 2021 when I worked out of my home. I was just an individual at that time. I had no other employees. It was me, one woman show. I reached out to my community. I reached out to any small business owners that I knew. We live in a small town, so I do know a lot of people, and I do know a lot of other small business owners. Even before I had the storefront, it's just a privilege when you live in a small area. You just know everybody. So I reached out to basically everybody that I knew, and I was like, hey, I really want a way to give back to our community in a big way. When I was younger, I used to work in a nursing home, and I did that for about 5 years. So being right in the middle of that, seeing everything that goes on with all of these seniors, it takes a real toll on their health when their mental health declines. Physical and mental health is really hand in hand. So 2021, we were in the middle of a pandemic. Everybody was on lockdown. Even if they had friends and family members, they weren't allowed to see anybody. And we really saw a decline in physical health in the entire senior community because of that. So I wanted a way to really just kind of like brighten their spirits and say, hey, we have not forgotten about you. You are still loved. You are still part of our community. We still appreciate everything you've done for us over your entire life. So it was just a way for myself and my business to feel something good in a time where everybody was feeling something bad, if that makes sense. So
absolutely.
Put that together. I reached out. We were able to provide 5 facilities with our wood roses, and it was a total of 217 roses, which was fantastic. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I was like, how amazing that we've been able to do this together. Then following year, which was last year, 2022, we had moved into our storefront. In doing so, my social media platform really exploded. We had 5,000 followers at that time. So I wanted to use this platform for good. And this project that I had put together the year before, I want to do this every single year. So with the platform that I had, I was able to reach out to, let me say that I joined my local chamber actually with my business, which was a big help, because that's a great way to network and a great way to connect with other small business owners and put yourself into the community. So in doing so, I knew so many more business owners. My business was so much more involved in the community because of the chamber, honestly. And I was able to have 69 small businesses in our area contribute or participate in one way or another with Roses for Residents, which was absolutely incredible. We had QR codes that we had other businesses put in their establishments that people could just walk in, scan, make their donation. They didn't even have to come and see us. So that was a great thing. So whether or not a business donated monetarily or they used our QR code, I believe that they deserve recognition because no matter what, they're giving back to our community just by being involved. And I think that's a great thing. So we always recognize any business that participates in any way. And that is a great way actually for other businesses to see and say, what's that? I want to be part of that. And then they reach out and they want to be part of it. So it just kind of snowballs. It's a great, awesome thing to do. And it just snowballs and it's the coolest thing. So last year.
So before we get to those numbers, I just want to touch briefly on just the way it works in general. So it's basically someone sponsors $5 for a rose, and then you take it, make it beautiful, paint the rose, put it on a beautiful stem, wrap it up, and then you guys deliver it to the residents of the facility, right?
Yes, we give them to the facility people, and then they distribute them during their Valentine's party. That way the residents can connect that, because sometimes, of course, they're not completely they're not completely cognitive. We do all types of facilities, so assisted living, skilled facilities, any kind of long care in our area, long-term care. That's who we're providing our roses to. So when you do that on their Valentine's party, it really helps them to connect. So it's really cool. And then they always send us photos back of everybody's faces, get the roses, and it's just the thing. Really makes my heart swell.
All right, so year one, you had 217 roses.
Yes.
What was year two?
5 facilities.
5 facilities.
Year 2, we had 35 facilities.
Amazing.
That's a big jump. And we did 1,906 roses.
That's amazing.
We had to cut it off early because we were so close to our deadline. We just couldn't. We didn't have the manpower to complete any more roses. We were just out of time. But people in our community did still want to continue to contribute, even though we said, hey, we just can't anymore, and it's a sad thing, but it's also like a bittersweet thing. It's like incredible to have to say,
right,
we can't do it anymore, but people still contributed. So we actually took the total of what was donated last year and we carried it over to this year, which was great. So we got a jump start on this year with 174 roses.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And where are you at now? And what is because I know we'll talk about your social media plans and things that you're doing over there to keep everything active and keep everyone excited. I know when I when I see your Facebook Live go up or your videos, I'm like, that energy, it's contagious, it's infectious. So I know that you change your goals as you're able to cover facilities. Yes. But where are you at now and what is your current goal?
As of this morning, so we always do our count in the morning. I don't count anything else that's come throughout the day until the following morning. I like for it to be a surprise for myself as well, because it's cool to come in and be like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. So as of this morning, we have 32 facilities on our list, currently sponsored. Completely sponsored. We have 1,518 roses sponsored. Our goal is 1,595, which would cover all 32 of those facilities. So as of this morning, we only need 77 sponsored roses in order to fully sponsor those 32 facilities. And that's only 3 facilities away from what we did in its entirety last year. And we still have a long ways to go before we're done.
Yeah. So when is your deadline for when are you like putting a pin in it? We're at capacity for 2023.
As of right now, we're talking about February 7th, because that gives us a whole week to be able to finish up anything we need to do, sort everything, get ready for delivery. That delivery is a big job because we're not doing things that are just in our immediate area. We really go in a wide area around us. We have a huge radius that we go to. So February 7th is our end date as of right now. But depending on how wild it gets, we may have to pull that back to February 1st. It kind of just depends on the community, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to have that flexibility, like, and to know, that you may have to end it early based on an overwhelming response. Like and it's something that you're doing to like help inspire your community. I mean, the people that are sponsoring are inspired by you and what you're doing and the giving back aspect and, connecting to these seniors. But then also knowing, you have all these seniors to help that you can do, that is pretty amazing. So let's talk real quick about how, some of the things you're doing marketing wise to help engage the community. We've talked about, joining your chamber, just being in a brick and mortar downtown location that helps to kind of facilitate that spirit. But you also go live every single day. And now that I know that you surprise yourself in the morning too, I bet that helps like with the little oomph that you have in those lives.
Surprise and the sheer amount of caffeine that I put in my body every day. That's what keeps me just like really amped up.
Yeah.
It's fun though, because, whenever you're doing a live, and especially if you do it every day like I do, there is a persona, just like anybody who does any kind of customer service. You've got your customer service voice and you've got your regular person voice, and those two things don't always go together. So when I do a live, I am definitely Business Tiffany. And Business Tiffany is super hyped. She's super excited. She's loving life. She's having a great time. She wants you to be excited. And when I turn the camera off, I'm always like, okay, like it's just like I go from like, to all right.
I completely know that. Being, the wholesale director and working as customer facing, like there's definitely phone voice, video voice.
Yes.
Email voice, like your emails can change depending on what what the situation is. There's serious email and then there's friendly email. Anyway, I completely understand that. And it's fun. It's fun to, be in front of the people that your community and stuff and be like, hey, this is a cool thing we're doing. And I want you to be involved and I'm going to get you excited about being involved in it.
And it's a great way to really interact with your customers, because anytime I go live, we have customers who are commenting on there. They're telling me good morning. I have a catchphrase. It's, hey, hi, how are you? I say that every single day on my video. And people say that to me when I'm out in the world. People recognize me, of course, because I'm in their Facebook feed every single day yelling good morning. So pay attention, they know me. And when I go out, I'll have people that are like, hey, aren't you that lady? And I'll be like, yes, I am. Sometimes I forget I'm that lady. So I'm just out there being a regular person. And then somebody will catch me off guard. And then I have to be like, oh yeah, I am that lady. Business Tiffany now, let's put it back on.
I love that. So are you, that consistency also is helping with algorithms and all of that stuff, making sure and I know you always say, please like, comment, share in your videos as well. Because all of that's helping to get you the exposure you need for the program to be as successful as possible. Now, outside of when Roses for Residents is done, are you consistently going on every day, or you still are?
Mm-hmm. They see me all the time. Now I have gotten a little more relaxed with it. Some days, some weeks I don't do as well as I do other weeks. And I think that's with anything, you just have your emotional ups and downs. And sometimes I don't want to be on camera. Sometimes I wake up and I think today's not the day for makeup, and then I come into work just looking like I'm homeless. So those are the days I don't really want to go live.
Right.
But for the most part, I do consistently go live on our business page every single day. And that's important, especially like you said, for the algorithm to be posting every single day. So whether or not you're doing a live or you're just making a post or you're posting a meme or you're talking about your personal life, anything that you're posting on your business page, if you are consistent, is putting you in front of other people.
Yep. And the consistency is, that's a big thing at Oh You're Lovely, consistency. And it also like makes you reliable. like your customers and the people you're connecting with, like, see that you're a reliable source of, I mean, wholesale, I send out a newsletter every week. That's part of our consistency. It may change if it's Thursday, Friday, maybe there's a sale, so it's on a Monday, but like every week you will get an email from wholesale. Just, hey, here's a little snippet of information. And so, that it not only helps, like you said, with the algorithms and getting your reach out more, but it helps your customers and the people you're trying to connect with know, like, she's going to show up. She's going to show up. And if she's showing up on her page, she's going to show up with my order, whether it's a custom order or whatever. So I think that's really important. Now, speaking of that, you have a brick and mortar, but I think you also do custom orders and things. Like, what are you selling these days? Outside of the roses for residents, obviously.
Right. So we have a shelf in here that we keep stocked at all times with pre-made arrangements that are available for people to walk in, pick up, and go out. I also take on personal custom orders. If somebody wants something to match their space or whatever they need, I do that. We do funeral arrangements as far as casket sprays, grave sprays, just in general funeral flowers for family members and friends. We also do weddings. I don't know why my brain was just like, no words here, but yes, we also do weddings, and weddings are really the bulk of my business. Custom orders are great to do because that really helps to bump up that business, especially when you're a brick and mortar. You'll find that you don't always have a lot of foot traffic.
Right.
Because people are busy, especially if your hours conflict with people's work hours.
Right.
So it is nice to offer those custom orders because that allows people to reach out to you and say, I need this, but I can't come in now, so it's just a great way for you to kind of stay consistent with orders and keep your business level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you also mentioned that you have an employee. And one of the past interviews I did, it was a new employee as well. And I'd love to hear, like, what do you have that employee working on for you? Because I know everybody has their different either pieces that they're like, this is what I'm giving you. There's amount of like things you don't want to let go, things you're okay with letting go. So just curious what your employee is doing for you.
Yeah. So when I first hired an employee, I have a problem with control. I can do it better than you, so let me just do it. You know what I mean? I just really have that problem of letting go of the reins. So when I first hired an employee, it was very hard for me to delegate a task and to not jump in and do it. I really had to work on that a lot, but I have worked hard and I feel like I do a really good job of allowing them to take control. So now the employee that I have, she's fantastic. Her name is Lex, and really she keeps me in line as well because I am a scatterbrained person. Of course, as you know, when you own a business, there are a million things that are happening all at once. I am the sole owner of the building of the business. So I am doing the marketing. I am doing payroll, I am doing ordering, I am doing stocking, everything that in a business involves.
You are even the janitor for your it's everything.
All of those roles are on my shoulders, but Lex does so much for us. She makes our shelf arrangements. She helps with custom orders. She does almost a majority of our custom orders. She right now is working on Roses for Residents. She does a heck of a lot. So she is fantastic.
I love that.
And my schedule, she reminds me a lot because I'll write things down and I have to verbalize it to her as well, because even if I write it down, I'm not always going to remember. And I'm like, hey, don't you have an appointment today? And I'll be like, oh my God, I do.
So, there's sometimes that Post-it just like walks off your table.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I know we're getting close to our time limit. So we've touched on a few things that you've given as advice for, entrepreneurs and people going into business. Is there anything else that you think would help someone who's either just starting out or, has been in the business for a while and is looking to do something different or to add on anything to their business? Is there any advice you would give to a beginner?
For sure. Number one is always be involved with your community. That doesn't mean to donate to every single person that asks you to donate. We cannot do that, but it means be involved in your community. Put yourself out there, whether that means joining your chamber or picking and choosing a few things that you can donate to.
Right.
That puts you in the community, that puts you in the public eye, and that lets your community know that you're supporting them. And when you support your community, they will support you back. Another thing is don't be too hard on yourself. That's something that a lot of us do. We see all the flaws in our work. But if you go to Walmart and you buy something, you order something off of Amazon, you go to the dollar store, you go to TJ Maxx, you go to Kohl's, all of these big box stores, when you buy something, is it ever perfect? Absolutely not. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I have bought a product from a big box store that I have spent a lot of money on, and I can look at it and I can see a million flaws in it.
Yeah.
And I have willingly bought that. I have purchased it. I have taken it home. I'm not calling them to tell them it's messed up, So we are so hard on ourselves to be perfectionists. You don't have to be. In fact, in this business, because we're florists, flowers are not perfect in the wild.
Right.
Do not try to be perfect. Like that's probably the number one piece of advice. Don't be perfect because you cannot be.
So and it's an added pressure. It's an added pressure on yourself.
It definitely is. And you don't need that. You've got enough pressure already. So skip over that one.
Awesome. Well, this has been amazing to chat with you. I love everything about, your business and how it's grown. I love Roses for Residents. I know that you were the first in our community, in our woodflower community, to really take charge of this. And, it's been something that you've inspired others and talked to others about, how it works. And so it can spread. You started it in, was it Farmington, Missouri? Is that right?
Park Hills, Missouri, but we're very close to Farmington. They're
okay. So Park Hills, Missouri. And it's not only spread to surrounding communities for you, but you've pushed it to, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. I know that it's in many, many states in the United States now. So I really appreciate that and what you've done for this community. Is there anything else that you have going on this year that you want to share about your business? Any upcoming goals, or are we right now Roses for Residents? We'll get through this and then we'll think about the rest of the year.
Exactly. That's how it goes. I'm a real wing it kind of girl. Like every year I know I'm going to do Roses for Residents. So that's definitely on my schedule. Everything else is just kind of, you got to get through the days, I will say as a storefront owner, I am very bad about doing the seasons like, let's say, Hobby Lobby does. You have to think 6 weeks ahead in retail, but I don't often think about that because it's every day is just busy, busy, busy. So maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do that.
Well, you can give me Lex's email. I'll shoot her one, 6 weeks out and be like, remind Tiffany it's time to switch the season. Right.
Too funny.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much, Tiffany. And to any of you out there that enjoyed watching this, Tiffany's information is in the captions. That word escaped me. So that, you can follow her business and keep up to date with how Roses for Residents is going. And if you're interested in being one of the makers that we spotlight, please feel free to reach out, wholesale@ohyourelovely.com, and we will get set up. So once again, Tiffany Wright, thank you so much, from Copper Fox Contrived, based in Missouri. And we appreciate all you're doing for your community.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.